What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another daily hack. And today we are continuing our conversation about vodcast because, yes, we were talking about it all week long. And yesterday we discussed some of the details of what it takes to get one, why we should get one. But today, yeah, we're gonna talk about some of the successes that we've had. I think on that. Maybe even where we first started digging into doing it this way. But Ron, what's going on, my friend?
Oh my gosh, just ended our course training and hopped right on to our daily hack. So this is exciting that we are talking about vodcasts because that's my favorite thing to talk about.
Yes, definitely. All right. So this you told me a funny story today,
I did.
actually, and so I wanted to bring that up. It was definitely not in the plans to talk about this week, but your very first time that you were interviewed by a pretty awesome person, Klaus, and it was on StreamYard,
What?
and it was I think it was live in his group, but I don't know if did he. I don't think he used a podcast. I don't think it's anything like we do, but ultimately you were interviewed on his live Facebook show, and yeah, tell us tell us about that experience and how you just immediately got hooked
Yeah.
with it.
No. So I went on there and I was curious all about it. Now it looked a little bit like this, right? So
Mhm.
I was like, "What is StreamYard? Like, what is that?" And he's like, "Oh, it's this cool little way to do live broadcasts to multiple platforms." I was like, "Oh my god, that is awesome!" So after we were done, I instantly started looking into it because I'm a branding person. Like I'm like, "Oh my gosh, there's such a missed opportunity. What if we can make this whole podcast thing frictionless and be branded and be in multiple places and get our message out there in a visual way?" That all spoke to my brain because I'm a visual person. I was like, "Oh my gosh, let's do this." So I don't remember if it was that same day or the day after where I was like, "Corey, we've got to look into StreamYard." And we were just using Zoom, and it was we'd take the Zoom and then I would add all the after graphics and then I would put it on YouTube. It took me hours. And I was like, I figured out how to get like time back to me and be able to get more content out there with this program. And so it was something that we started using. We've never looked back. We just add different brands to it.
Right, right, and then and it was funny because it was around the same time that we met up with the Biz Bros,
Hmm?
and in Luis they talk about being frictionless, right? And that message resonated with us so much
Yeah.
that you discovered a way to get your time back.
Mhm.
We also knew we wanted to go live in Facebook and live in YouTube and all the different things.
Mhm.
And Luis was talking about getting being frictionless,
Yep.
and the perfect vodcast was born at that point, right?
Yes, it was.
So, and yes, you're right. We haven't looked back every single time. Now, a funny story, right? We used to record on Zoom every single interview,
Mhm.
and then do all the after stuff to it that would take, including the way we end our show, because we like to give our interview shows two takeaways every single time. So I know we've told this on with a few guests that have been on the show, but uh, if for anybody that's ever listened to our interviews, you should know that every time I ask Ron to give two takeaways.
Mhm.
What are the two takeaways? So, what was your experience when
Well, before
first
we
live show?
before the first time, let's talk about what we used to do. So we would batch these interviews, and we weren't even smart enough to just do the takeaways right away. So I would have to then edit the show, think about the show, call you, say, "Okay, this is what the show is about. What do you think the two takeaways should be?" And this should be like hours worth of time. Then we're like, "Ooh, what if we just not stop recording Zoom and just do the takeaways in the outro right away. And then it's just in one pretty little file. And that made life much easier. Then we went to this live format, and it was our first show. And we put the guest in the green room, and Corey's like, okay, what are your two takeaways? I was like, holy smokes. I wasn't taking notes. I wasn't ready for that because it was never something we've done live. And now I will tell you, now that we're obviously a little bit more prepared, we get so much positive feedback that the guest actually gets to hear our takeaways of what they said from their interview live. And then we talk about it after with them after we end the show. So it's I think revolutionized kind of our show and how other people see how they can do podcasts.
Right, right. And again, it's not about the people that download the show necessarily. It's the takeaway piece.
Mhm.
It truly helps build the relationship that you've already started building through the
Correct.
process of that interview. Right. And so
Mhm.
that's one of my favorite pieces for this. And now we have a kind of a, I don't know, it's every 6 weeks we are involved with a group called PodMax that we get the opportunity to interview like 3 people in one day in one afternoon, along with some other training and networking and awesome things. And so we've done 2 of those now. So that one of them actually, it's the first time we did it, we got back on Zoom for these 3 podcast interviews, and we were like, I don't know, what do we do? How do we get
It
our takeaways?
seems so weird. It seems so weird to be back on Zoom. It's like it's just all black. I don't understand. Like
Yeah, there's no branding, there's no
I can't do
nothing.
fun little jabs or anything, right?
Yeah, so now, like,
See,
once you once
can't do
you
stuff like
go
that.
once you go to a vodcast, you'll never go back, right? Like that's how good they are. That's how frictionless they can make it for you, and you can be branded. And I want to bring up one of our clients that who I don't know if we want to talk about her name or anything, but she has had a pretty good podcast, is a very successful book editor, and
Oh yeah.
she came to us and wanted to do what we're doing, right? And she wanted the branding, and then you came up with some awesome cool things, and now she does a regular live show and then gives us the episode, and then we do the editing afterwards and all that fun stuff. But uh like, I just wanted to kind of have you talk about that story and that relationship that we have with her, and that relationship she's able to have with her other people she's interviewing because of the podcast.
Yeah, I will tell you, it helps her sell her whole package to her potential clients that she gets on the show because they're seeing something that they've never seen before. Like they're live and they're like, oh my gosh. So just to think about our intro for a moment, every time a guest comes on our show, our intro is a little bit long. Okay. It's about a minute, but it's done for a reason. And I'm going to kind of open the curtain a little bit. So if you guys haven't noticed, Corey and I have an agency that we do, I don't know, graphics and video and design and vodcasts and stuff, right? So the intro, think about, and I'm just going to play the intro for a second, Corey. I know it's like in the middle of the show, but I'm going to do it. So if you're a guest in the green room, you're just going to be watching this.
All right, everyone. Thank you so.
That's the outro. Okay, and you get the idea. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but there's us talking over it. But what it shows is it shows a really cool graphical, visual video thing that they're like, wow, that's super cool. It gets them engaged. And we get so many compliments on it because guess what? It's a 1 minute advertisement to our guest that is in the green room watching. And at some point, they're like, hey, I can do something like that for myself. How do I do what you guys do? And we hear so often, you guys make it look so easy, and it's not. How do you guys make it look so easy? I just say call Corey. That's how I make it look easy.
Yeah, I mean, it's again, to anybody of what you do, what you sell, it's probably easier for you than it is for me,
Right.
right? And certain things we go into certain things because of a passion, because of things going on. And so, for example, podcast editing. We launched our podcast, we figured out the editing side, and we've both immensely enjoyed it that we started saying, oh, we could do this for others.
Hmm.
And now we have, dozens of clients through that process, right? And so it's so cool that anything that you're selling, if you find a way to share it, you can share it in an easy way, to you, but to others it's not, right? And so the StreamYard piece is easy for you, Ron, even though it's tougher for others, right? It's easy for us. It's way easier for us to go and record this way, and it's easy for anybody that has a podcast that's branded, that can just hit the button and go play my intro, done. Not I have to worry about it, right? So definitely, it is easy in that sense, and there's always things that are easy for what you do versus the person that's watching you. So,
Yep.
um, but that is the stories we wanted to tell today about vodcasting. Tomorrow, we've got a couple more stories for you, and we're going to continue this vodcast conversation for the remainder of the week. But guess what? Thursday, stay tuned, 3:30 Mountain Time. We're going to have about a 30-minute training on vodcast in our Profits With group. So you will want to be there. You will want to join us live. Maybe we'll do a free giveaway for those that attend live.
The
I haven't
training's
asked Ron
free.
about that, but
The training's free.
the training is definitely free, but maybe we'll gift somebody one package of some podcast tools and information there. So anyway, thanks everyone. Sorry, it's a little long on our daily hack today, but these are such good stories we had to share, and we will come back tomorrow with more for you.
Yep. Guys, thanks for being the best part of the Hindsight Hackers community.